everybody, just want to make a quick video on the things I noticed, issues I've noticed with my Toyota Prius. Now I have a Gen 3 Prius. Now the Gen 3 Priuses were between 2010 and 2015. Then 2016 were the Gen 4 Priuses. I'm not familiar with the Gen 4s too much, but basically there wasn't really much changed in comparison from 2010 to 2015. Some of the changes were probably the front bumper design, the backlights became a little LED, interior they had some structural integrity in terms of the side paneling here for safety. Let me see what else. I think that's about it. There really wasn't much at all that changed, and I have a package 4, and basically the differences between the package or the tech, you get navigation, Bluetooth, and pleather, or the soft text they call it, right? It's not really real leather. It's more durable, and it kind of you can see right here, it looks like leather, may feel like leather, but it's not leather. So let's go down the list on the issues with this vehicle. Now I've had this Prius since day one, purchasing it brand new. It's been a great car so far. So this is a 2013 package 4 Prius. I've had it now for 2018. Basically 5 years. Now I'm making this video now, November, well actually end of October 2018, so we're about to go into 2019, so it's gonna be basically 6 years that I've had this vehicle now. And in the beginning it was, it's still a great vehicle. In the beginning there was basically no issues, like normally with most cars, unless you get Mercedes-Benz or a lot of these unreliable brand vehicles based upon, not my assumption, but Consumer Reports and other magazines that judge these vehicles. There has been no issues with the engine whatsoever since day one until now. The engine's been very strong. The battery has been extremely reliable and strong. There's been no degradation in the battery cells at all. I've had them checked. I know that has been a issue, popular to belief. There's been a rumor that's been going around, and that was a rumor that it was an issue with the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Priuses. They solved it, I think, in this Gen 3, and then Gen 4s now is even much better. I've driven Gen 4s, and they're really amazing vehicles, and the engines is amazing. And so is the Gen 3. So no problems there. Big problem, let's go straight off the bat, is the software interface for the navigation and this everything here. Let me go ahead and show you guys. So as you can see here, this is the app menu. See how much lag there is with that screen. It is very, very laggy. It's just lagging like crazy. So and if you want to be able to go through here and click on maps, it's probably gonna take a day to pull up. I mean, now it's pulled up, but the car's been on for quite some time. But if you're just starting your vehicle, and this is really weird, all these navigation, the apps, Bluetooth, whatever the thing might be, the software is very slow. And nowadays with iPhone X's and the newest iPhones, newest smartphones, it kind of gets irritating after a while. Now the new Toyota products, the Gen 4s and the newer Toyota products, they don't have that type of issues. It is much faster in terms of the software and interface. So that is the number one gripe. And I don't know if it's, when I first got the vehicle, it wasn't really an issue with the software. It wasn't an issue with, it just wasn't an issue. So I don't know if Toyota updated it and it became an issue after that because they do software updates, um, and then it slowed it down. The map update, it may have slowed it down because this vehicle does have navigation, so I'm wondering it may be due to that. And you'll notice on your smartphones, if you have basically almost zero storage on your smartphone, it'll kind of lag. So I'm presuming that this might be an issue with this vehicle. Now, I haven't downloaded anything or additional on the software itself, but like I said, it might be an update for the maps and such. So that's the first gripe. The second gripe is, for these vehicles, they have halogen headlights. They're not HID, they're not LED, they're halogen headlights. And they are, the worst in terms of driving at night. You cannot see anything in front of you. I mean, you can see a little bit, but it's just really weak. And I thought it was the light bulbs, and I replaced the light bulbs. It was not the light bulbs. It was basically this halogen headlights. And I've had this vehicle since day one, and they've always been an issue in terms of the lumens, that are outputted on the ground. Now, personally, I've upgraded my vehicle to HID headlights, and they have been amazing. They're very easy to convert for this vehicle. It took me less than like 5-10 minutes to do it. I was able to purchase the items online. You can research it, and it's basically plug and play. I've had HIDs in this vehicle for now a year and a half, 2 years. Best investment I've made so far. So that's a workaround on that issue. The third issue is the amount of noise in the cockpit of this vehicle. Now, the noise has always been an issue since day one, but because of work, I travel very often, and I get to rent a lot of different vehicles, from Nissan Altimas to Sentras to Ford Fusions. I mean, the variety is just all over the place with vehicles, and every single one of them, I want to say, are much quieter, and they're much more comfortable. This vehicle is very loud inside, and I have floor mats. I have actually 2 floor mats and they're not rubber floor mats. They're actually the fabric type. And since obtaining this vehicle, I've always wanted to put like Dynamats in the side of the door panels here, or wherever. And if you go on Prius forums online, you'll see a ton of people having the same issue with interior noise from the road. And I basically put on Michelin tires. I researched a lot on tires. I know tires make a huge impact in terms of comfort, in terms of road noise. So I invested into some really good Michelin tires that I researched online. I forgot the name of it. I don't think they're the Defenders, but they're the one class above that in terms of comfort and noise reduction. It did help quite a bit in comparison to the OEM tires that were placed on. The OEM tires that were placed on here went out so quickly. I had to get them replaced at, I think, 25 or 30,000 miles, and I'm not really a fast driver. I'm not really a speed demon, and you can't really be a speed demon in these Priuses either, unless you put power mode. And if you put power mode, as you can see here, the engine and the throttle response and the battery, they kind of cohesively work together to give you that huge amount of power. And I was really surprised, and I think that's a huge plus with this vehicle, is people think this car is very slow. Once you put in power mode, it's not that. The tires will spin. The tires will spin. So but yeah, back to the noise. I put in Michelin tires. The noise, it reduced a little bit, but it's still a very noisy vehicle, and it's very irritating. And it is on a variety of different roads that is just very loud inside the cockpit of the vehicle. Now, in terms of handling, the Prius handles pretty well. What I say is the best handling vehicle, No, very far from it. It is not the best handling vehicle, but the good thing is because it has the batteries in the back, uh, right there, beneath the the back seats right there, it gives this weight ratio which is really good in terms of stability in highway speeds, and not a lot of people know about that. But yeah, it kind of balances it out, and it makes sense. So the handling is, you don't have a grasp of driving. If you're in a scenario where you have to turn really quickly on the highway, even with these nice Michelin grip tires I have on here, I would not feel comfortable. I would, not feel comfortable at all in terms of handling in this vehicle. Now, does it handle quite well? Yeah, I mean, it handles perfectly. But, if you're looking for something that, if there's an emergency situation, or if you want to handle, switch lanes very fast, there's a lot of body lean in this vehicle. Is not, you know, you have to see what the vehicle was made for, and it wasn't made for maneuverability. That's for sure. Um, so let me see what else are issues with this vehicle. Um, hmm. Yeah, the cheap plastics. I mean, as you can see here, is very. This is the plastic that's on this vehicle. Is very hard plastics, very cheap. Um, there's a plus and minus to that. I think the plus is this plastic will withstand a lot of torture. This type of plastic that they put on the vehicle. Okay, this hard type of plastic. I think in terms of temperature fluctuations and such, I think it'll withstand it very well. I was located in Florida. I'm now in Texas. Both states very hot. Florida very hot and humid. Texas very dry and hot, extremely hot, hotter than Florida. And depending on where in Texas, I'm in Dallas and used to be in Austin. If you go to Houston, it's very humid, or the east side of that. But I'm in a very dry climate, so this car has had a beating in terms of the sun. Even though I put it, with a sun visor in the front all the time, it takes a beating. So this plastic has taken it quite well. But one negative, and this is a very big negative, is because of that heat. What I noticed in the first 2 years, I think 2015, 2013 is when I purchased the vehicle. 2015, the car was having a lot of rattling noises in the front dash, basically right here in this area. And I took it to the Toyota dealership and told them, there's some rattling going on there. I don't know if there's a loose piece or whatever it is. I even went into the engine compartment, and where's the area where they have the vents right here in the front, right here. I thought there was some kind of branch or acorn or something there, and there wasn't. I cleaned it all out. The noise persisted. I took it to a dealership almost 2-3 times. They were not able to fix the issue. They put some felt in between the plastic clips where dash goes inside. It helped it a little bit, but the rattling noise just continued forward randomly in different periodic time frames, and they only happened when the weather was very cold outside. And I noticed that maybe the plastic maybe had that type of issue in terms of the temperature fluctuation. When it was very hot, I didn't notice that, but when it was very cool or cold weather, it rattled very often. Another issue that I got fixed from the Toyota dealership when I first purchased it, it first came up the first year, was right here on the side. And it's basically, this is where the buttons for the windows to go up and down. And I'm 5'10", but my knee rests right here. My left knee rests right here. So when it does, there's not much pressure that's placed on here, but there's a lot of squeaking and rattling noises that came from that piece of plastic, like I said, is very cheap plastic, very hard plastic all over the place. So they put some felt there that fixed it, but it was a constant you know issue that was very irritating, but it got fixed. So that's something that you guys may encounter with your Priuses. I don't know. Another issue is Bluetooth. When I'm driving this vehicle, going about 45 or 50, um, the other person listening to me can hear a lot of the road or wind noise, even with all the windows up. And if you're driving highway speeds, which are maybe 65, 70, 75, like here in Texas, good luck on the Bluetooth of them hearing you perfectly or clearly, and you hearing them clearly, because you're going to have to put the volume very high up. Now, the speakers in this vehicle are upgraded JBL speakers. They're green edge, which means is more energy efficient in terms of the energy consumption of the speakers. Um, they're good speakers, but they're not the best. I wouldn't rave about them. I'm like, wow, this is awesome music. I mean, you're not gonna be able to get that from these speakers. And like I said, I've rented mini cars like Nissan Altimas to Ford Fusions where they've had regular speakers, not even the upgraded Bose speakers, just regular OEM basic speakers, and they sounded the same as these GBL speakers in my Prius. I was expecting a little more, but I didn't get it. And I thought it was, maybe the music I'm listening to. I mean, for this vehicle, I've got HD radio, XM radio, high definition, coming from the satellite radio. And it's good, but it's not really the best. I wouldn't really go gaga over it. So that's one thing to notate. But other than that, guys, that is basically it. I guess if you want to consider paint an issue, for this type of vehicle, the paint scratches very easily. I think that, maybe, I don't think it's just the Prius, but I think a lot of Toyota vehicles, the paint is very thin, that they place on it, and they get scratched very, very easily. I've had people ding my door, and this comes off, the paint comes off, and this is a silver color Prius, so as you can imagine, it doesn't pick up dirt or scratches as much in comparison to, like, let's say a black or white or red vehicle. It doesn't catch that type of stuff, but it just scratches it so easily, and I tried to buff it out. It didn't work out, and I'm very meticulous with my vehicle. I hand wash it, I wax it, and is this the paint? That's the huge issue. I'm just going offhand over here. I think another issue, and this is coming up, in my head, is the backup camera. And let me go ahead and show you the backup camera here. So I just put it in reverse. That's the backup camera. It's not the highest resolution camera. It doesn't have any lines or anything like that in terms of, like, the guidance. It doesn't have any beeping noises to say, hey, you've got a car like 1 inch from your bumper, stop. It doesn't have any of that. And that is, I guess, a big issue. For me, I really don't care too much about it, but it can be an issue with folks wanting to know how much they have to back up and such. Last issue, I know I've gotten so many issues that's coming out randomly. The last issue is how low this car is. The front bumper is very low to the ground, and that's due to aerodynamics. They've developed and created this vehicle to make it the most efficient possible in terms of fuel savings, right? So they made it very aerodynamic in terms of the front, but when you go, at low speeds as well, when you go over, let's say there's a curve, you have to go down, and whatever the case might be, right? From going into a Walmart parking lot or some, uphill ramp, hill, whatever you call it, it always scratches the bumper in the bottom, and it is irks me because I'm very meticulous in my vehicle. I don't like scratches anywhere in my vehicle, especially on the bottom, even though I can't see it that well. But it's almost near impossible to not do that in this vehicle. It is very easy to do that because of how low to the ground this vehicle is, and you know how easy it is to kind of scratch the front. And it just happens. It just happens. So huge issue with that, and that's about it. Other than that, those are the main issues with the Prius Gen 3. I hope this was very helpful for you guys in making a decision if you want to purchase this vehicle and what you're going to have to deal with. Other than all those issues listed, you know, with all the years I've had this vehicle, I'm very, very satisfied with this vehicle. It is, you know, the EPA ratings for this vehicle says, you know, 48 or 49 miles per gallon. I'm getting easily 55, 60 miles per gallon, you know, city, highway, you name it. Very easily you can be able to attain it, and you know, you can be able to drive it pretty rough. And I don't have it on, you know, eco mode. I have it on this no mode whatsoever. Like I said, there's 3 modes to this vehicle. There's EV mode, eco mode, and power mode. Eco mode is basically when you push on the gas pedal, it doesn't provide you that throttle response to just go. So I have it off because if I want to push the gas and go, I want to go, right? So it this has you know, great fuel economy. It has the practicality, the reliability with this vehicle, the room. I mean, you have a lot of room in the back. This is a very, very, very practical car. You know, if you want, I had to move from Florida to Texas, and I had basically packed all my stuff in this Prius. And funny enough, I was going to decide to purchase this Prius or the Lexus CT200, which is the hybrid version, the same engine as this Prius that was placed in that vehicle, but it was less practical. It was a hatchback vehicle, great handling, but it was less practical. It didn't have as much room in the back of the trunk, and it was not practical. This car is very practical. You can put a lot of stuff here in the back. You won't have any issues with reliability on this vehicle other than the ones I just listed right now in this video, and you're gonna get almost excellent fuel economy, you know. So other than that, guys, that's about it. I hope this video was helpful. I looked online, I didn't see many videos that posted, you know, there was some negative stuff people have posted, but it wasn't really a thorough review on all the negative stuff from a person that has driven a Prius every day for the past 5 years. And I wanted to make sure to post a video for everybody out there that, you know, is going to make a decision to purchase a vehicle, to see what they're going to go through, what they're going to go into, and also to be aware that, you know, there's some really fantastic things for this vehicle as well. And I think that the reason why people buy the Prius and they stick with buying Priuses, even, you know, purchasing a new car, there's a huge cult following, loyalty to this brand, is due to the reliability, due to the gas mileage. You know, this car will not fail you. So anyways, guys, that was a review of this Prius. Hope this was helpful. Press a like, comment below if you have any questions, and see you guys in the next time. Thanks.